Alright guys, what is up? So as one of the final pieces to our manual transmission swap, we needed either a new exhaust pipe or I went ahead and changed it out for these. These are stainless steel long tube headers, and as you can see they look absolutely amazing. I got these off eBay. These are a knockoff of the pace setter ones, so they're a little bit lower quality. So if you can afford the higher ones, go ahead and get them. These ones were $130 shipped, so no shipping charges. This was in the United States. But if you just look up for 1984 389 300ZX long tube headers, these should pop up, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And what I went ahead and did is I went and get, because we're not going to be able to put the old heat shields on these, I went ahead and bought some fiberglass wraps. We're going to go ahead and wrap them today and get them prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to give a few tips and tricks that I've been seeing. I've been doing a little research on it, but I am not a professional, so I'm not going to go ahead and guide you through. But I will just give you the little tricks that I've seen, and then down in the description there will be a link to a video, and they actually have a pretty good video on it. But these ones are going to be pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward. These ones are going to be a little bit more difficult just because you have the three coming into the collector right here. But other than that, guys, I think this is going to look great. And another thing to note, I am currently soaking my headers in some PB Blaster because VG30 headers are known for snapping off the exhaust studs. So I went ahead and ordered actually a new set of studs from Past Power Innovations. Those are on their way here, and fingers crossed we don't need them. Fingers crossed that we don't snap any studs on the way pulling them out when we're doing the swap. But just in case we do, we have those if we need them. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready and start going with this, guys. Alright guys, so here's the wrap. We got this on Amazon.com. It was like $10 for these plus 10 of the metal zip ties. You can see that's the label right there. So this is a 2" by 50 foot black, what does it call it? Black tape with stainless steel ties. So basically, this is just a regular fiberglass kind of wrap, and we're going to go ahead and get this a little bit wet because it's supposed to be a little bit stiff when it's not wet. So by getting it wet, we'll be able to go ahead and wrap it around everything with ease. It helps a little bit with the malleability. Now I did go ahead and order another extra 100 pieces of these stainless steel zip ties. These are pretty cool. They're just like regular zip ties, but they're made out of stainless steel, so they can withstand the heat that these are going to be under. These were 100 pieces for $10, about a foot long, so really not that bad. It comes with 10, but I'm pretty sure we're going to use more than 10. Just on the main headers alone. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the headers first. I'll probably do these first, and then wrap the headers second so I can get a little bit of experience with these, work my way up to there. And then if we have leftover, we'll do this little white pipe as well. It's 50 feet, so I think it should be enough. If not, I can go ahead and order more. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. But we're going to go ahead and get this a little bit wet, and I will see if I can put a nice little time lapse up here for you guys as you see me trying to fail with this stuff. Yeah, so there you go. Alright guys, so when you're working with this stuff, they do recommend putting on some gloves and some glasses. I already have those on, just in case. And I went ahead and got this wet, so it's nice and soaked now. And there's a couple staples in it. We're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to go ahead and start on this piece first. And we're just going to go ahead, we're going to wrap, because this little slot slides in about 3 or 4 inches on each side. It slots into the collectors. So we're going to go ahead and just start the wrap about, I'd say 3 inches past the end of each tube, and end it about 3 inches past the end of each tube. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. Let's go to remove these staples real quick. So what they recommended doing in that video that I have linked, you kind of just wrap the exhaust around a little bit. And you're like, okay, that's about how much it takes to go around one time. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take our piece here. And we're going to measure about how many times it's going to take. And you're going to want to give it a little, about 1/4 inch of that overlap. So that's 1. And then we're going to move that 2. Move that 3, and kind of just go down the pipe as we measure it. And then we're going to measure, it's going to take that much, and we'll just take that, and then we'll fold it over that many times and unravel it, and then cut it with a little bit of extra on the end, just so that we have this all covered. Because this is a pretty short piece, I'm probably just going to go ahead and just leave it to unspool from there right now. because it's not too big of a problem. But for those headers, it'll definitely be a lot easier because they have a lot of different tubes, and it'll be hard getting this through and maneuvering it. But what they also recommended is when you go ahead and start, you want to take one of the corners and you want to fold it at like a 45, and that way when you start doing the wrap, it helps it hold a little bit better. So you're going to push it down and then tightly wrap. Just like that. And you're going to want to go over the first one time before you start doing the overlap. So I'm going to go ahead and work a little bit with this, guys, and I'll leave the time lapse going, see if we can fix something for this and make it look good. Alright guys, this first piece went pretty well. There was a little bit of wrinkling here, but it looks like it came out pretty fine. I'm going to go ahead and put another strap on this side just to make sure that it stays put. But I would call this a success. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I'm going to move on to the collectors, or the headers. Alright, well I was able to do about 3 pieces, and they came out pretty well. I believe I started with that one, then I did this one. This one came out really well. And then this big, the header, the main header right here, it was pretty difficult to do. As you can see, I used a lot of these zip ties just to hold everything down. One thing about these zip ties is they don't necessarily lock in place perfectly like a plastic zip tie does. So they are prone to slipping, so I actually bent all of them backwards, if you can see that, in order to keep them from stop moving, because I had a couple slip off and had to put some new ones on. And I haven't figured out how to cut the ends off of them yet. That's why they're all still so long. I was trying to use some wire cutters and it was just not going through it. These are stainless steel, so they're pretty tough. But as you can see, this is about what I have left of the spool. I did put it in between these 2 jugs with a little wrench going through to make it a little bit easier to pull off. And I actually have a pretty decent amount of this stuff left. So I don't think I can do that whole last header with it. It would be pretty close, but I don't think I could do the whole thing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and order another roll. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of that on this little Y pipe just because it'll take like 2 minutes to do that. One thing I did find, because this is fiberglass, it gets everywhere, even if you wet it down. So what I have here is just a little water bottle, and every once in a while I'll just spray that down, or when I'm touching these, I'll just spray them down. And the water helps keep the fiberglass particles stuck to their thing instead of blowing around with the wind. I have a couple pair of gloves there, and you can look at them and they're just sparkly from all the fiberglass all on them. So what I recommend is getting a pair of like rubber gloves, maybe some nice rubber gloves that go up pretty high on your arms. That would be the best thing to do, and that way you don't get any like pricks and prickles on your fingers. But there you go. I'm going to go ahead and update this video at the end here once I have that done in a couple days when the new spool gets in, and I'll show you all the pieces. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this pipe, and then you should see the finished product right now. Alright guys, well here we got all of our pieces wrapped. Actually, I forgot to wrap the end of this one right here, so I'll go ahead and do that once I'm done filming here. But we got all the pieces wrapped and they all came out pretty nicely. So I eventually figured out to do with these zip ties. To cut them, I used some tin snips. They're just kind of like metal cutting shears basically, and they worked very well. And what I'd do is I'd cut them about 1 inch long, and then I'd fold them over on themselves and pull them tight. And if you used a pair of needle nose pliers to bend them back over the little centerpiece, that would help keep them tight so that they wouldn't slip like I was kind of describing earlier in the video. So we all have all of these done. They worked out really well. Getting the fiberglass nice and wet really helped with the malleability and keeping the fiberglass particles pretty much away from getting all over me. The next thing that I did was I went ahead and got some of this DEI is design engineering, some high temp silicone coating. I got this on Amazon. It was like $14 I think, and I went ahead and I've already sprayed this one. You can kind of see these zip ties have been painted black. It's a silicone coating, and basically it's just going to help preserve the lifetime of these the wraps, and it's also going to help keep this color. The ones that I got, supposedly they will fade to white eventually, and this is going to help them stay black for a little bit longer, so it looks a little bit cleaner and more professional. So there you go, guys. That's kind of all my tips and tricks. These should work out really nicely. And if you have any questions about what I did, go ahead and drop a comment down below. And if you have any tips or tricks for doing these even better than what I did, or you see that I did something wrong, drop a comment down below and I'll put it in the description as an update. Alright guys, there you go. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later.